because I'm looking at two people who I've grown to really enjoy their company and their characters, and I'm up here in sunny London, which is also a pleasure, and in a lovely location. And when I walked into the office today, I literally, not very often, but I thought, ooh, and then I went, wow. And it really was, honestly, it was an explosion of colour and the environment, and also the people that you've got working with you I love. So the people I'm talking about is Emma Murray, founder and CEO, and also Julian Pryke, who's the founder and COO of Meantime Communication. And I genuinely think you do a great job and you've got a lovely team.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Honestly,
it's good to see you.
Honestly, even though we had to break in this morning.
I understand that you managed to get through security and into our office without using the pass key. So
Yep.
We need to have words.
Yeah, we'll explain how we did that later. But just to kick off, and I'm not blowing smoke, in your direction, but you really have got a lovely team.
Thanks very much.
And every single interaction I've ever had with them, or seen them at conferences or whatever, has been nothing other than a positive experience.
It's really great to hear. We're really, really proud of them, and it's a young team as well. We're very invested in bringing young people along.
Yeah.
And as you know, air cargo, for one, is an industry where that's sorely lacking.
Yes.
So we're happy to introduce people to that industry, get them to stay.
So this isn't going to be a super serious podcast now. Okay, I just want it to be. I want it to be genuine because I am really impressed. Okay, so I just want to ask you a few questions. Now, for those that are looking at this moment in time at Julian, I also appreciate, Julian, how ill you're feeling at the moment. Okay, and fair play to you. You're putting on a brave face, so thank you so much.
Appreciate your understanding.
That's me all over, Julian. So what I'd like to do, first question, what do you think makes Meantime different from other working environments? Why have you made it the way you've made it? What are the ingredients that you both have brought to it, and why are you so pleased with the outcome?
I think that it's important to be very personal and very much a team mentality, maybe a family mentality, to create an environment that's fun to work in as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the colour upstairs. That's all been chosen very carefully. The colourful ergonomic desks, the plants. The original artwork, that kind of thing. I feel that when you come to work, you should feel like a bit of a wow factor when you walk into the office. Yeah. And I think that makes it different. And I think the industry that we work in, air cargo especially, is a dynamic and brilliant industry. So we're introducing people to something new, which gets them to travel the world, talk to people from all over the world.
What a great... And you're bored with where everyone's going, who's going where... And also the neatness of it. That's what stood out to me. I couldn't believe that.
Chris is now describing our big yellow whiteboard on which Dulcie Jervis has written out all of the events that we attend, all of our press releases that are coming up, all of our everything, in fact, on that board. And it's incredibly neat. And if Dulcie goes on holiday and one of us happens to write something on the board, she gets very cross.
Fantastic. So, Julian, let me ask you something now. One thing leadership at Meantime does really well that generally helps people feel supported. What would you say? What would you say that is, and why are you so proud of that?
Well, it tracks back to the previous question. The reason the office is how it is partly due to the fact of Emma and I's own experience. We started off 25 years ago working for Informer, and Informer at the time was enormously acquisitory. And a bit messy and disorganised, if I'm honest, and we experienced how things shouldn't be done a lot.
You talk about the news...
Informer and those that bought Lloyd's of London Press all those years ago.
Okay.
So we came in there. And at the time, as I was saying, it was very acquisitory and it was not done that well, and so we experienced offices that were run poorly, put together poorly, with a focus on profit over people. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be a focus on profit, but at some point you have to look how you're going to exercise your profit, and we kind of believe that comes through working closely with the people that you employ.
Excellent.
And that's kind of how we've managed it so far. And also Emma's enormously organised, very, very at the forefront of new tech and software platforms. So if there's something that comes along, which is good in terms of personnel, if that word exists anymore, then we engage with that. So we're transparent as much as we can be, and we work hard to make sure that the people that work with us know they're valued.
Brilliant. No, brilliant. Now, this question might seem a bit peculiar here at this, but having seen and met Emma and known her for quite some time, the question I've got here is, how important is humour, personality and enjoying the people around you in such a busy working environment. I mean, that must be really
it's completely
important for you
vital
guys.
when you say.
Well, I've seen your writing. It's probably the kindest way to move forward. No, humour's really important. But I think people naturally want to laugh if they're happy and the environment's good.
Don't they just?
If the sun's out like it is today, you want to enjoy yourself and you work more productively if you're happy. We all know that. So that's exactly what we do, We inject some humour. There's tons there with our team, their backgrounds and what they do. It's great.
Fantastic. Let me ask each of you, what would be your funniest experience or most memorable meantime moment so far in the years that you've had? I know it's a hard question, but,
really
just something that really jumps out.
I think any of the events that we attend with our team stand out. And I think if I think back to recently, I think the first time you met Abigail was her very first event, and she'd only been at Meantime for a month.
That's it.
And she walked into that crowded reception. And previous to that, she'd been very happy to be in Istanbul and very excited to meet everyone. And then she walked into that room and her face dropped a bit and her lip went a bit. And then she met you and you chatted to her all about the industry and she was made up. And then within 10 minutes, off she went and she's never looked back. She absolutely loves the industry and travelling around. And it's moments like that where you think, this is great.
And she's lovely. And we did a podcast as well.
You did a podcast, and she recently went to Lima and she represented us on her own and did a brilliant job. And it's that kind of thing where I know that I love this industry. I'm proud of our company and I'm delighted to be doing all of this. But when you are able to introduce somebody it's their first job, they're aspirational and actually they get it and they stick around and they make something of it, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's standout.
But it does make a difference, doesn't it? If you've helped or pushed somebody to be better than they think they could be, or to make them more comfortable so they definitely can be better than they. It's a wonderful thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice little baton to be passed on. And what about yourself?
There were tense moments as I remember once being asked to not introduce the Canadian Deputy Minister to Travel for Transport at a Tiaka event in Vancouver years ago. Yeah. And then the person that was due to introduce her left stage and left me to introduce her, but I didn't know who she was. That was in front of 800 people. But it wasn't that much humour at the time. No. And other things, but some of them you can't mention because, of course, they cross the line. But most of them happen at events where you've got lots of people in an environment for 3 days, and when you're there, and you're kind of part of this bubble. Lots of things happen, and you have to be there, which is probably one of the best things of the job, is getting back involved with the people and having that time and camaraderie. Yeah, it's brilliant.
But I think also, I'm just thinking now of the Meantime Christmas lunch, which has become a little bit famous, where we invite all of the journalists for an old-fashioned Christmas dinner. And just a couple of days ago, Dulcie and Abby were already starting to talk about what they were going to put as place name tags on the table. Yeah. Because last year Dulcie embroidered everybody's name onto a Christmas bauble as their name tag. So I think that's kind of brilliant that they're already thinking at this stage forward to Christmas. So those Christmas lunches are always stand out.
I remember being heckled by Kevin Keegan when I was introducing him.
Kevin Keegan?
Yeah, he was the guest speaker at the Multimodal Awards, and I was practicing and he came along and heckled me from the back. Testing. I remember David Gower being late as a guest presenter. The Multimodal Awards again, bit of theme, the fire alarm going off for the Multimodal Awards in the middle of it. So all these things happen, but they're all good fun.
But if you treat it as fun, it's good, isn't it? And you see people on the stage who freeze a little bit when something goes wrong, somebody doesn't turn up on time, or.
Yeah. Well, I've always, and I've said to lots of speakers, numerous things I've done in this industry. Yeah. There's an idea that people think that the audience is against them, whereas in actual fact, everybody in the audience wants you to be a success. Yeah. And if you hold that close to your heart, you will get through these things really easily and happily. You're not the comedian, you're not the paid entertainer. You're there to guide the audience, and we're all in this boat, this transport logistics boat together, so you're fine. I've had to calm down many people and try and tell them that you're not. They're not there against you, they're there with you, supporting you. It works well.
Let me ask you something now, because the one thing that I surprises me all the time is when you see people who are so prominent in this industry and they're up on a stage and it looks as if they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
That's I can think of. I can't name people, can I? But
No, we
literally
mustn't,
at the edge of the stage, in bits, jogging up and down on the spot.
Yeah.
These are people that are directors and CEOs of major
and
companies.
their hands going.
It's odd.
So you know what I'd say at this point? They should do some training with a decent PR agency. We can help them with that.
But do you know what I'm saying? What is it? I honestly don't understand that.
I don't know. It is peculiar, I have to say.
And I think, why would you put yourself through that much?
If you feel that upset about it, don't do it. Yeah, best.
But I agree with you.
But then again, I remember hosting an event for a body of the EC in the control tower at Budapest Airport, I think it was. I mean, this was about some, I can't even remember. It was about
air traffic control.
Air traffic control. It was about
digitisation of air traffic control.
Exactly, really high end. Now, I didn't know it and don't know anything about this. And I am presenting this, so I'm hosting it, and I've got 6 experts to my left, and I've got an audience of experts.
Including a NATO general.
I've asked, yes, and I've asked for questions, and a question comes along, and I say, right, question 1. I read this question out with a spring in my step. Panel, nothing. Now, I can't answer anything because I don't understand the question. So I'm there with the question, panel, nothing. And now it's getting tense. And at last, a senior individual from the EC stood up and said, actually, I think I've got an answer to that question. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. She sits down. Another question. Who in the panel like this? Nothing. Silence again. Eventually, the same person puts their hands up. Actually, I think they can help with that. And for the rest of the session, one person, none of which was on the panel, answered all of the questions from the floor. It was me interviewing her throughout.
I'm assuming the entire panel were native English speakers.
They weren't native, but I was probably the only English person on the stage. But it wasn't to do with the language. It was to do with the fact that the questions were so daunting that none of them dared answer.
My goodness.
It was, honestly, laugh did I ever. I was in the audience taking notes because I had to write a press release about the panel. Well, that was a very short press release.
It was a very long, stiff G&T. I can tell you that about that.
But isn't it also wonderful when you're in situations like that to see that, people are human after all?
Well, I had to do another one, and I went in there with a little more trepidation than the previous one, but this one was fine, but it was an amazing experience. The experience you gain from this kind of adversity is just so good, from presenting this programme. You really build and gain. But you don't do it because you're too scared. You're not going to get anywhere.
No, I agree, but even on the same, I remember once we did one in Paris, and Parveen said to me, will you go out? And I went out, and then as soon as I went out, all the tech went. Electricity, lights, everything went. And I'm trying to give them a signal to the guys, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, nothing. They didn't even tell me how long they thought. You got to tell stories or a little joke or whatever. I remember telling a few jokes then that if I tried to tell them now, I'd probably be... I'd be blanked or I'd be taken out of it, which would be...
cancelled, that's what they're saying, isn't it?
I try not to use that word. Right, so another question for you.
Right.
What makes people stay at Meantime rather than just treating it as another job?
Well, partly all the systems we have in place to make sure that they know that they're valued by both Emma and myself. That and also, of course, that the industry that they work in, although on face value, people seem to think that transport and logistics might be a bit stuffy. As an actual fact, as we know around this table, it's a brilliant industry. It's international, it's global, it's exciting, it's dynamic, and back at COVID time, the rest of the world seemed to notice that that's what it was. So it's part of the industry, it's part of how we run the office and the things that are in place to make sure that they're looked after. Yeah. And I'm sure it's also part of the deal that we have a large travel budget, which we invest in. We invest in travel so people can go and see the world, meet the people, and make new contacts.
Yeah, I think it's also very important to give people responsibility. So it's no good employing people just for the sake of it because they're young. We want them to feel that responsibility. So they basically manage their accounts very early on. They're responsible for that. And they feel that ownership, and they are entitled to make decisions about that account, come up with suggestions. And although it can be, I guess, to begin with, a little bit daunting, we've got systems in place to support them. And it leads to an account manager being trusted to go to an event by themselves and represent the company. and look after 4 or 5 clients, some of them not even their own, early on. And that will only continue as they stay with the company. They will get more responsibility.
But it does show, guys, and like I can remember being at one event, I won't say which one, and a couple of your guys were there and they were interacting with loads of people. I remember just sitting watching them, and they weren't just sitting waiting to have questions. They actually contributed more to the dynamic of that social event than some of the people that are there in the industry. They were great, absolutely great.
Good to hear, and good to know that next week in Warsaw at Chiaka we'll have Dulcie taken to the stage.
Yeah.
To chair a next gen panel.
Yeah, brilliant.
She's been very confident about that. She's been very organised about research and speaking to the people in advance. So I'm looking forward to her having that.
What
chance.
a lovely opportunity.
Yeah.
So with that, let me ask you another thing. So if you had to describe the Meantime team dynamic in 3 words, what would they be? What could they be? What do you think? Which one of you wants to go first?
Professional is a word that I would use. Professional.
Yeah.
Attractive. No, don't be ridiculous. Professional.
Energetic.
Energetic's good. Inquisitive.
Creative would be good. We should have put in there.
Well, you shouldn't have said whatever you said.
Oh, sorry about that. That was 4.
Yeah, no, but that's okay. But just, you know what I mean, just giving it a little bit of a flavour to it. And then on this one, and I'm going to just ask you a few bit more light-hearted questions, but this one, what's the one thing new employees quickly realise after joining the team?
They're going to have to crack on with a job.
Yeah, no, but
do you know
what I mean? As soon as they, because like when they come in, obviously they see this and they've got an image and they've had the interviews and they've looked you 2 up and maybe known some of the others. What would you say is the one thing that if they were asked now individually, they would say this is the one thing that we realised quite quickly after joining Meantime?
We're being set up here, Emma, because he's going to ask them this question. So,
I think they would realise quite quickly the kind of the breadth of the job.
Yeah.
Because on paper, PR, I guess you've watched Absolutely Fabulous or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
They would realise quite quickly that PR involves lots of different layers. It involves strategy, it involves data, it involves creativity, it involves networking, connections, it involves knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's all of those things, and it's not just one thing, and it's a lot of responsibility, and especially in the meantime where we're very much part of the C-suite team effectively, and they have to grasp that very early on, and possibly when you come for the interview it kind of sounds like it might be nice and it might be further down the line, but you'll be probably that same afternoon on a Teams call with the person in charge of a major airline's cargo division and expected to quickly grasp the material and get on with the job.
This is a personal comment. I've become increasingly interested in people that are younger than me, their opinions, and I've sought it out over my own children. I've sought it out more and more as I've got older. So when people start with us, I'm very quick to ask them their opinions, and I give it loads of value because I've realised that my opinion's probably getting shitter. And you've got this whole new set of opinions and ideas, and it's really valuable. So the first thing I think they're going to get is questions from Emma and I, and they're not just like, "What's your favourite colour?" It's like, "We think we're going to do this. It might be that. What do you think?" And what they come back to us with, we take it on board. And I think that's probably quite hard when you're 23.
Yeah, but it's a nice. But I think they'll look back on that and think, "What a great step."
You won't get that at a larger
organisation. No, my goodness me, no. I've got another question for you now. Okay, so basically you could operate from anywhere. So apart from a few obvious responses, which I'm sure I'm going to get, what made you choose this location, this office, and why have you done what you've done? Because you've also showed me, Emma, from the tea bags to the cookies to the plants. There's a reason behind everything.
There is a reason behind everything. I'm a bit like that. So that backdrop is about sustainability, which is very close to my heart, as people will know. So it's true, we do have compostable tea bags, and we do reuse the water from the coffee machine to water the plants, and we do have ergonomic desks, and we make the environment really nice. But why do we choose this location? Well, I guess it goes back to our name, Meantime. So we're not mean to people. We came from Greenwich Meantime, and when we were in Greenwich, we were in a historic building. That's where we started, above the market, which was very characterful. Because of COVID, that all closed down, and we were stuck at home. But we were determined not to stay at home. We wanted to attract young, dynamic people to join the business, and to do that, you need to be somewhere dynamic. So this area of London, Southwark, is historic. It's close to the river, which I love. And you do as well. And this building is an ex-factory. It's got a bit of character to it. It's got a bit of an edge to it, and it's right next to a really good pub. Anything else?
Secure,
yeah.
Well, recent evidence has made us question that, and there's a full review going on.
That's it.
You got anything to add to that?
Well, it's I can line bike it to my house in 26 minutes. That's good, but it's Borough Market's down the road. Let's face it, you don't like going there. It's London Bridge. It's highly connectable, and also we're an international company. Even though we're tiny, our reach is massive, and I know that our clients like the fact that their PR company is based in London. It's one of the top 2 cities, international cities in the world, and I think it gives kudos, and we're very proud of that, and we lean into that. So that's the reason we're here, right in the middle, right on the river, in the shadow of St Paul's Cathedral.
Which we'll get the chance to see later. Well, I remember the first time I came up here, and first time when I came up here was just before Christmas, wasn't it? And I remember thinking, God, this is nice energy. It's lovely. If you had to work somewhere, you'd think, God, I'd be pleased to come up here.
Well, I'm a North Londoner by birth, and I moved to South London in 1999, and I'd never go back up north. And so it's quite important to us to have a South London office. And all of our employees are all South London. This is not a prerequisite. But we're South Londoners.
I think the other thing is that we are very close to our customers, and they do like to come and visit us. And it's easy to come and visit us here.
It is. I've got one last question for you both. Okay, so if Meantime had a warning label, what would it say?
I have no idea how to answer that. Do you?
You keep your passport up to date.
That's a good one. No, that is a good one.
Because you're going to need it. And wash your hair. Brush your teeth.
Right, good. No, seriously, but honest to God, all right, the reason I wanted to do that is we could have been talking about customers and this and that and everything, but I think what the two of you have done is evident in the people that you've got. And even when we were setting up here, I mean, it's a lovely young lady, but Roseanne was boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
Boom, 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 like that.
She's super.
Yeah, right. I mean, she's bang on, isn't she?
Yeah, she's been with us a decade.
Has she?
Yeah.
Holy mother, mate.
I mean, she took a break to selfishly have children, which we had to forgive her for, but she's come back now.
No, but what I mean, she's all of them, everybody we've met. You know what I'm saying? First impressions are lasting, and no, fair play for what you've done, and the ingredients in that little cake or baked mix or whatever. The taste is wonderful.
Good.
So fair play to you. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to speaking to them later.
All right, thanks, Chris. Thank you.